Welcome to this explainer. Look, I want you to just imagine for a second that you and I are sitting down one-on-one right here in my office for a private consultation. We're going to build a clear, completely actionable financial roadmap that's specifically designed for your 50s. You know that late night panic you might be feeling? We're leaving that behind forever today. There's a path forward, and, well, we're going to map it out together.
So let's just dive right into this incredibly common 3 a.m. fear. You know the one, you wake up, stare at the ceiling, and just wonder, am I actually going to have enough money to survive when my body just can't keep up anymore? I want you to know right now, you are absolutely not alone. As an advisor, I literally hear this exact fear from clients every single week. It's totally normal to feel overwhelmed when retirement suddenly shifts from this, distant concept to a fast approaching reality. But here's the absolute truth. There is still time to secure your future if we start today. It's not too late, but we do need to act deliberately.
Okay, so here's our agenda for today's explainer. We're going to quickly face your financial reality, debunk the Social Security myth, build up your 10-year safety net, outline some smart investments, figure out how to create passive income streams, and finally wrap up by protecting your health and wealth.
All right, moving right into section 1, facing the financial reality, knowing your starting point. The very first step in any solid financial plan is taking a really honest, totally non-judgmental look at where we currently stand. I'm talking no guilt, no shame, just the numbers. Now, $25,000, that number is absolutely critical. Did you know that nearly half of Americans age 55 to 64 have less than $25,000 saved? Yeah. So if you're sitting there right now feeling a bit behind, please realize you're actually in the majority. But why is this happening? Actually, it's not because people didn't earn enough during their long careers. It's simply because no one ever sat down and gave them a clear roadmap. You were probably told to just work hard and pay your bills, right? Well, today, we are drawing a new map. So I want you to grab a pen right after this explainer and write down these 3 specific numbers. First, exactly how much do you have saved right now across all your checking, savings, and retirement accounts? Second, what is your total monthly spend? This second number is literally the engine of your retirement plan. It dictates exactly how much you're going to need to survive. And third, how many years do you realistically have left until you want to officially retire? You just cannot build a successful financial plan without first establishing your foundation. These 3 numbers are your absolute starting point. Let's move on to section 2, the Social Security myth, why government checks aren't enough. Many folks secretly hope the government is just going to step in and cover everything. But waiting for a government check is a really dangerous plan. Think about this. The average Social Security payment in the U.S. is roughly $1,700 a month. Now compare that to the true cost of modern living. Rent or property taxes, groceries, medical bills, utilities. The cost of food and healthcare alone can easily devour that entire amount. You cannot realistically cover all your modern living expenses on just $1,700 a month. That system was built for a totally different era. It was meant as a supplement, not your primary income. You need a plan that goes far beyond just waiting for a check in the mail. Which brings us to section 3, building your safety net, the 10-year emergency plan. Before we even look at growing your wealth, we need to build a defensive shield, right? So an unexpected event doesn't force you into crippling debt. If you're planning to retire at 60 or 65, you must build this untouchable emergency fund slowly and consistently over the next 10 years. And just to be clear, this is not your retirement account. This is your safety net. It's the money that sits quietly in a high-yield savings account, just protecting you from life's unexpected moments. A new roof, a sudden medical bill, maybe a blown transmission. Because without this shield, any emergency means you're borrowing money at terrible interest rates. Let's put this into perspective. If your current monthly spend is $3,000, your target safety net needs to be between $9,000 and $18,000. Now, I know that sounds like a massive mountain to climb, right? But the good news is you don't need it all tomorrow. Even putting away just $200 a month builds up to almost $7,200 in 3 years. Step by step, it grows. That consistent discipline creates a buffer, giving you the peace of mind to finally sleep soundly at night without that 3 a.m. panic waking you up. Okay, section 4, smart investments at 50, safe, steady, protected growth. Now for the offensive strategy. Look, at 50, we don't have 40 years to recover from massive market losses, so we're pivoting entirely to protected, steady growth. As your virtual advisor today, I am telling you, you absolutely must take advantage of employer matching on your 401k. That match is literally free money. It's an instant 50 to 100% return before your money is even invested in the market. There is literally no other legal guaranteed return like it anywhere. Next, you gotta utilize those IRS catch-up limits. The government actually knows you're trying to catch up, allowing up to $30,500 in tax-advantaged contributions for folks over 50 in 2024. Finally, spread your money out. Consider real estate investment trusts, or REITs. They let you invest in commercial real estate without having to go out and buy or manage a whole apartment building yourself. Pretty great, right? And let's quickly demystify a common piece of jargon you probably hear all the time: the index fund. When you're 20, sure, you can gamble on a single hot tech stock. But at 50, we need reliability. So instead of betting your hard-earned money on one risky stock, an index fund is essentially a basket that lets you easily bet on the entire economy. You own tiny, tiny fractions of thousands of successful companies all at once. Historically, these broad funds return a steady 7 to 10% annually over the long term, and that provides exactly the kind of steady, compounded growth we need at this stage of the game. All right, Section 5, creating passive income streams, monetizing your experience. Now we're moving to a strategy that most advisors just completely skip over, and that is building multiple income streams. Think about your career for a second. Whether you spent 30 years in human resources, project management, sales, or maybe carpentry, you possess decades of highly valuable professional experience. And you can absolutely build passive income by teaching those exact skills to others online. Step 1, package that expertise. Step 2, write an ebook or maybe create an online course. Step 3, launch a YouTube channel. You have real, lived experience that younger professionals and eager learners out there are more than willing to pay for. Now, you might be thinking, the internet is only for young people doing dance trends, right? Well, actually, scratch that. The fastest growing group of new content creators right now is actually people over 45. Crazy, right? But why? Because audiences desperately trust real, lived experience over untested theory. People want to learn from someone who has actually navigated real-world challenges, not just read about them in a textbook. So your age, your maturity, and your professional background, they are actually your biggest competitive advantages online. Another absolutely great passive income stream is dividend stocks. Check this out. A relatively small $50,000 portfolio invested in quality, dividend-paying companies can generate anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 in annual passive income every single year. You just buy the shares once and you don't have to lift a finger. The money just arrives in your account as your slice of the company's quarterly profits. When you combine this with your online expertise, your optimized 401k, and your Social Security, well, suddenly you have multiple powerful streams of income flowing in at all times. Which brings us to our final section, Section 6, protecting health and wealth, your ultimate defense. Finally, we have to protect everything we just built from the absolute biggest threat to your savings. Listen to this. Medical bills are the #1 cause of financial disaster for people over 60. It isn't a stock market crash, it isn't a bad investment, and it isn't losing a job. As we get older, our bodies just simply need more care. And even with great health insurance, tens of thousands of dollars in out-of-pocket hospital costs, physical therapy, or nursing home care, that can completely wipe out an unprepared retiree in a matter of months. So to make sure that doesn't happen to you, we absolutely must set up your health defenses. First, if you have access to a health savings account and HSA, max it out. It is literally a financial superpower. The money goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and it comes out tax-free for medical expenses. Honestly, it's incredible. Second, you really need to look into long-term care insurance right now. Locking it in at 50 helps you avoid those massive, sometimes completely unaffordable rate hikes when you hit 65. And third, and honestly, this is the most important and completely free investment. Eat right, stay active, and take care of your body today. Every single dollar you invest in your physical health today saves you thousands in medical bills tomorrow. So, here's the crucial point. You do not need a fancy finance degree to secure your future, and you certainly don't need a time machine to go back to when you were 25. You just need a clear plan, exactly like the one we've mapped out today, and the daily discipline to actually execute it. Like they say, panic never built a bank account, but a clear plan, that changes everything. Well, we've laid it all out. You've got the roadmap, you have the rich career experience to generate income, and you absolutely still have the time to build that safety net and grow your investments. Let me say it again, it is not too late to build absolute financial security, but you have to start right now. No more 3am panic, you have the tools. So my final question to you as we wrap up this explainer, what actionable step are you going to take today?